Well, we're just out for a ride around our own county. Thought maybe we would get into some of these trails that are around in my area that we ride on. So stick around. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, we're just on a ride out through some of the neighborhoods in my own county, but you know, we just put out a video, and I had several comments on how nice the trails were, and it got me to thinking a little bit that, you know, Michelle and I, we really are blessed that we have the type of areas to ride that we have. And so I started looking it up a little bit, and the Raleigh, North Carolina, take a guess on how many miles of paved greenways, cycleways that they have. There are multi-use trails, but anyone care to gander a little guess at that? Well, hit your pause if you want to think about it for a while, but if not, I'll go ahead and share it with you. There are over 100 miles of paved greenways that Raleigh takes care of. So I am going to assume that is in the Raleigh area. Now, what that does not include, it doesn't include rail trails. The American Tobacco Trail is a rail trail. I think that possibly goes through Raleigh. If not, it's through one of the suburbs. That does not include areas like Morrisville and Apex, that they have a lot of greenways in their own right. I did not look up how many miles worth of greenways they have, but I know it's quite a bit because we've rode on them. And those are adjoining Raleigh. And then there are some other areas, towns that are not joining Raleigh, but Wake Forest has a lot of trails. We go up there. We've been up there several times and explored their trails up there. And it also got me thinking about other places. You know, when we, this was a pretty simple search to go ahead and find out, you know, how many miles of cycleways or greenways does Raleigh, North Carolina have? Boom, there it tells you. Well, we go to a lot of other places. So I started looking up some of these other places. In Charlotte, we've still got a trip planned for down to Charlotte. They've got 84 miles of cycleways in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, I've never been back through this little neighborhood here. It's a pretty nice little neighborhood. It's a pretty nice little neighborhood. I just kind of took a look on the map here to say, well, okay, I know the road that this goes across and connects to, and it doesn't look like this would be too busy of a road, so I shot down it, and this is a nice little place to go here, although it's not really a, quote, cycleway trail. But back to what we were discussing there, that's just the paved trails. Now, they've got more in the works. They're working on them all the time. And that's also not including the mountain bike trails. There are several places in Raleigh that has mountain bike trails. It's not including William B. Umstead Park. You've maybe seen me ride there several times. And there's quite a bit of gravel roads right there that are they're multi-use, and some of them are almost like a regular road as wide as this, and others are, you know, more like a cycleway. There's probably 20 miles in Umstead Park, I'm going to take a guess at. So that's pretty good there. I'm going to say all around the Raleigh area, you know, with the adjoining suburbs of it, we are probably looking at, if you included the mountain bike trails, I'm going to say we have to be well over 200 miles of places to ride bikes. You know, that is, let's see how long we can kind of stand here. There you go. I'd say we're pretty fortunate to have that, you know, that much access to good places to ride our bikes at. Well, darn, I know where I'm at. I knew. I knew where this road was, or what this road was, but I couldn't place it when I seen the Indian Camp Road. I couldn't place it in my mind. Yeah, now I know exactly where it is. And because I worked several horses right out, I believe it's this driveway right here back there. Oh, sounded like an angel got his wings. Yeah, it was right back there. There's a house back there where I worked several horses for them. That seems to be like why I know every place that I ever go, because I've worked horses there somewhere. Well, you know, you do that for 25 years or so, you get around to a lot of different places. But anyway, it got me to taking a look around at some of these other places that, you know, we like to go. And so we looked up Charlotte. Charlotte has over 84 miles. Charlotte's a little more difficult to design. That one kind of took me by surprise. That big old dog. I mean, he was in a kennel up there, but that barking took me by surprise. Where was we at here? Charlotte is a little bit more difficult to get around on because they've got, you know, like I say, over 84 miles. We're not going to cover that probably in a weekend because they're not connected together. And so you've got to make your way through. We like to try and make our way through neighborhoods, but you kind of have to make your way through towns when you're headed to Charlotte, through some of the city on some areas. So we're still kind of designing some routes on that. Maybe one of these days, you know, well, I'll just toss this out here and I'll let you guys put that. Would you be interested in how we build these routes when we go to these new places that we've never been before? Put down in the comments if that's something you'd like to kind of know. You know, you guys all know what I'm like about these apps. You know, I think they're a #1 accessory. They're probably one of the best bike accessories you can have as far as I'm concerned. But put that down there. But we went out, or I went out, not out, but I went on a little bit of a search to check some other areas out. And at first I started checking areas, you know, like I did Charlotte. What I'll normally do is just look at the bike paths on Google Maps of an area. But I started just doing a search for how many cycleways they have. I found some that were kind of surprising. Greenville, South Carolina is very cycle friendly. Richmond, Virginia has a very long trail, which I was familiar with. I think it's called the State Capitol Trail, and it's about 50 miles long. And of course, you get up into Pittsburgh, you got the Allegheny Passage up there. That's quite a long one there. That goes down to, I believe it's Baltimore, Maryland, or Hagerstown, Maryland, from Pittsburgh, PA. So it's that would be a multi-day trip there. I'm not sure I'm up for that. Where else did we check? We're looking right now up at the New River Trail in Virginia. That's a pretty nice one right there that Michelle says she definitely wants to go and ride. And so what we're trying to do is look for places that, boy, I got to tell you, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but that is just a beautiful stone house right there. I mean, that is really, really nice. I don't know what it is about that architecture that just really drew my attention there pretty well. But I really like that. Anyway, we're looking at the New River Trail up in Virginia, about getting up that way. I've also checked down, I don't think I wrote down any of these things. I just started investigating it a little bit yesterday. Maybe it might have been the day before yesterday, but this is through the week, so you know, I'm pretty much tied up from, I guess, about 7 in the morning until 5:30 in the evening. But Atlanta, Georgia appears like it's a pretty nice place. Now here's one for you. Out of all the states, who do you think might have the most bike trails, bikeways, cycleways, greenways, whatever you want to call them, cycleways. All right, I'll give you a second. Okay, I'll let you know. Minnesota, of all places. That kind of blew me away. I've been thinking, what do you do? Turn them into snowmobile trails in the middle of winter? You know, from October to March, they're snowmobile trails. New York has a tremendous amount of trails as well. And so that was a pretty good one right there. Let's see, which way do we want to go here? I've got my Komoot app on, but I never really put in a route to follow on it today. I think we're going to go down this way, and we're going to go back out the same way we come in rather than riding down the highway today. I think we'll just head back the same way we came in here. We've only been 8.5 miles, so that'd give us maybe 15 miles time we get home. So that's not bad. That's not bad. New York is supposed to be pretty biker friendly, but I gotta tell you, I've been to New York City one time, and I have to tell you, I'm kind of glad that I didn't forget anything there when I was there, because that means I don't have to go back and get it. Now, I've drove some pretty big trucks, I drive some pretty long trailers, and I've drove them with some heavy loads of livestock in the back, which is a live load. And everybody says, oh, that's tough to drive, I've never had white knuckles like I did taking a cab ride through New York City. And all we went was, I think it was JFK Airport to the Waldorf Hotel. And Michelle and I were looking at each other like, oh gosh, we're gonna meet you today, Lord. Let's see, is it this way that we go up? I don't think it is. I think it's this next one that we hook a left on. Might have to stop and peek at the map there for a minute. But yeah, I don't believe I'll be going up to New York City to bike. They're crazy up there as far as the way they drive. Yeah, this is the right way here. But hey, how many cycleways do you have in your area? Put down in the comments just the general area, the big city that might be kind of near you, and how many places you guys got to ride. Like I say, I feel like right here in the Raleigh area, we're really blessed to have the amount of trails that we have. And so, we feel very fortunate for that. But let me know what kind of areas you got and how many miles you got, and are they good trails? I can tell you, the ones around us are very well maintained. I'm not going to say there's not, closings on them quite often. I've been around through here patching. I already run through one patch of blacktop. Really don't want to run through another one. They'll have them closed down at times, and so you got to detour around them a little bit. But I got to tell you, for the most part, they are kept in tip-top shape. Now, some of the private places that are like mountain bike trails, some of them are not always kept in the greatest shape. Some of them are. Williams Preserve is a place that I really like to go when I go out myself and ride. They got some really nice, tight technical trails that I just really enjoy. So, those are always good. But there are some others that are, and I'm not going to say they're poorly maintained, but they're, how would I say this? And I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm not in this area so much, but the Roanoke Canal Trail is, it's not that it's not maintained, it's not improved, we will put it that way. It's almost you know, it's a trail that goes through the woods, but there's no real improvements on it, which is fine by me, you know. But we get quite a bit of that type of trail around, that they haven't really tried to develop them into good trails, but just made a trail and you make from it what you can make from it. And there you go, you got it. So, and others, they really do a good job putting in skinnies over anything that might be a wet area, and you know, they'll put in, there's the one place that we go that they've even got a mountain bike, not an obstacle course, but mountain bike obstacles that they run. And they're just set out there to go ahead and practice on. So, you know, I kind of enjoy hitting that when we get there. Well, there went my GoPro telling me I'm just running my mouth too much. I hear that beep. Battery done died out on me. You know, I'm really kind of contemplating getting something, an external battery for this. So there you go. There's another question for y'all. Does anybody have an external battery for your GoPro? I have considered charging it from my USB on my bike, and just about the time I was getting ready to start testing that is when I started going back to using the chesty quite a bit. And so, you know, that kind of got put on a back burner. But I'm thinking along the lines of, I think, what do they call it, a Volt or something. It's like a selfie stick, but it's a battery as well that you can plug in your GoPro. And I'm wondering where I could put that, how heavy it is. If anybody uses something like that, hey, put down in the comments what your thoughts are on it. And let me know what kind of how satisfied you are with your GoPro batteries. I use the GoPro 8 is what I use, and overall I'm pretty satisfied with them, but I got to tell you, they do run through the batteries. They run through the batteries. But hey, that's going to do it for this time around. So till next time, Internet, this is Southern E-Biking telling you, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels turning. Once again, we're out.